I always think come back to myself. Whenever, because I learned that I'm making decisions from your heightened emotion places is never a good idea.
Mm.
Because again, your thought, your frontal cortex is shut off, so you're not thinking anymore. So if you're making a decision from a highly emotional place, whether good or bad, they're both from irrational places because your rationality is shut off. So as always, come back to myself. So I actually am a person, even if it's good news, I don't make a decision until I've slept on it. And that's,
Really?
and that's personal to me. And if you follow human design,
Human design.
yeah, to like projectors, but to certain people, your gut is your strongest. But for some of us, we're people who are more emotion and
Mm.
have more heightened emotions and more emotional waves, it's always best to get to a calm
Mm-hmm.
space. Because the point isn't even really to just like throw it away and leave, it's to get to a calm space. If any emotions is high or low, you're making a decision purely off of emotion, and sometimes that emotion can blind you from what you're seeing. If something sounds really exciting
Right.
or something is terrible or wrong and you have heightened fear, both of these are irrational.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I get in an emotional place, we talk about me being emotional,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tend to talk less because I try not to allow my emotions glasses to come up my eyes and
Mm.
see things.
That's very, very dangerous because
Mm,
you lose the sight with talking and expressing, then you don't realize how they are reacting,
mm,
or you lose your sight to watch yourself.
mm.
So, you know,
So you leave this situation basically. You're
yes,
like somewhere
right.
else.
Especially you feel the energy.
Mm,
So even if you cannot see energy well, but still you can feel.
mm.
So you, I know it's so hard, but yeah, we have. I know we cannot calm down. Who can calm down when we are in anger or the very, very, very emotional, very, very sad? We cannot calm down.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Because I don't believe it's about calming down.
Yes.
Because I see emotions as waves. So they're gonna start up and they're gonna go to completion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually was talking to someone about this today, and
Mm-hmm.
when you start to judge that emotion and try to like tell yourself calm down or judge yourself or say why am I feeling this way, what you're actually doing is adding on to the wave. You're throwing more emotions in the pot.
Really?
So if I'm let's say Leo here scratches me, I'll have an emotion. But if I start to think, oh wait, they're watching me, I shouldn't be upset. I should feel
Mm,
better. That's actually a new emotion now, just throw on top of that
mm,
emotion.
I got it.
And then me thinking like I have to be more centered. That's another emotion I throw. So every thought you have of self judgment is a new
Yeah.
emotion. So where the wave could have easily went up and down, where like
Mm-hmm.
he scratched me, I'm like, ow, that hurt. Let me take care of it. Okay, I feel better. Okay, let me just. You could come back. My emotion comes down from ow, that hurt, ow, and then Leo, get off of me, and then come down. But if it goes up and I start thinking other things against myself or against Leo, a more emotions are now thrown on top. So that's actually more waves and more waves.
Mm-hmm.
And so where something could have been like up and down and complete,
Mm-hmm.
you're starting more waves and you're starting another wave, you're starting another wave. So your emotions keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, and the thoughts keep happening and the emotions keep going again and again. And that's what keeps you in an emotional cycle. And
When you are in the status, do you think you're gonna lose what you are going to express first?
when
It's gonna
I'm
keep changing, like what I was talking about, or something like that,
yeah, because
right?
if you
That's the another problem.
yeah, if you think about it, something will happen and it turns from this person rejected me or I tripped and fell to why didn't you catch me? Why weren't you there? See, it builds into something else. So what
Yes.
you originally was mad at, that wave already ended,
Right.
but you started another wave to go for the other person. And you started another wave
Yeah.
to say, remember that other time you never caught me? And you started another wave where like, I'm so miserable here.
Yeah.
And then and you keep the thoughts keep starting new emotional waves. So you think that this emotion isn't ending, but it already ended. So that's why I don't think it's a calm down, because calming down is another emotion start. It's more of
Sometimes calming
get to
down make
logic.
you lie to
Yeah.
yourself, you know?
Yeah. So I think it's more of like bring the logic back in. Because you bring the logic back in, you're not moving from pure emotion, which starts more waves and more waves. You come back to, okay, we're good, we're fine. I
Yeah.
can just put some, for a scratch, I could just put some.
He really scratched? No,
No, no,
right?
no, no, no. I
Leo.
just
This
have,
is a Leo.
this is Leo.
Recently, we got it from we rescued him, and he was born in the Leo sign, so we named him Leo.
But I think that's what I was even saying about life is a lot of times I don't know what's happening, where I'm going, what's supposed to be, what's not supposed to be. And I don't like to use supposed to because it puts me in a place of a mental space. And I live in my head a lot. That's why I have an imbalance between my masculine and feminine. I'm always thinking, trying to control everything. And I think that's where you say my body isn't agreeing with my mind is because there's always part of me that's trying to control or feel like I'm missing something. And 2025 and 2026, I feel like going to be very special years because universally it's a 9 next year.
9? What mean 9?
Year of completion, end of cycles, release. That's the year 9, and that's for 2025 equals 9. So if universally for all of us,
Oh, I see. I understood.
it's gonna be a year
2
of
plus
release.
0 plus 2
5.
plus 5.
Yeah, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus
2
5.
plus
Yeah.
5, 9. That's
Yeah.
what he's talking about.
Yeah. And so that's going to be a big year of completion, end of cycles, um, kind of just new things starting and new concepts and ideas starting.
Yes, that's the thing coming to me. New thing, new opportunities. Of course, everyone, every day. But this 2025, it's going to be more new level of the new things, new opportunities, new things are happening to everyone, each of you. So we have to be prepared how you gonna react or you gonna be faithful, you're gonna be faithful to yourself, or
Move
this is the
forward.
good opportunity even if it's painful to you, but you can overcome. That's why it's happening. So you have to remind yourself you can overcome. That's why you can do it, and just appreciate each opportunity, and you just bravely. And if you cannot be brave, you believe, pray, and ask the help from the heaven or angels for real. They are ready to help you, and you have to be surrender to yourself and be honest. To be honest is important, but I want to talk about trigger though.
Okay.
Because even if you believe you are honest, a trigger happens, especially when you try to be honest and something is going wrong, and something is going wrong, your trigger comes in, and usually trigger you don't understand. Like people, it's famous people, dog, and they're so sweet, so sweet people. Oh, I love it, but they have trigger. They don't know why they act that way, and they don't remember why they acted and how they acted, and they go back to the very, very, very like an angelic animal, but still trigger change them violently, and even human beings have the trigger, each person, and usually like people, we don't remember or we don't realize what's the trigger. And recently, not recently, this year or 2 years ago, I understood my trigger. The lack of communication, or like a smooth communication, if I can have with anyone, friend, husband, children, staff, and especially closest people, family, or the workplace, I guess like I lose myself, and a lot of times I can handle myself like not the calm down, but what I said. I try to be in the center of the, I'm not going to lose my where I am, and I try to figure out what's going on, and I try to figure out each person how they reacting and what they saying. I can concentrate not to only to myself, but I know it's a trigger, and my anger and my frustration, my irritation coming out. So communication skill, if there are lack of the communication skill, or especially people don't express their feeling or what they think, or what they just shut down themselves like a shell, and they are quiet, they don't say anything, or sometimes, a lot of times, some people react like they are not there, or they act like, oh, it's not about me, or something like that. No, you are here. I'm talking to you. And I understand sometimes you get like a kind of irritated and you move your body to the front and to be close because come on, listen, I'm expressing and I need a communication. And if he doesn't come back to me like that, or they are not listening, or they act like they are not here, or they don't say anything, that's my trigger. I get, oh my God, that.
Have
How about
you
you?
have you so whenever I get a trigger and I realize something's happening, have you went into 'cause this is what I normally do. Have you come back to yourself?
I wish I tried. I remember I'm trying, but once it gets too much, then I said, I raise my voice sometimes, not all the time, but certain people, yes. I want to stop it, but because I want you to listen, because I want you to talk, I want you to express, I want you to let me know what you think, what's the truth. What? I want to know. That's why I'm talking, not because I'm just only expressing my feeling or the thinking. I want to know. That's the communication,
Yeah.
right? Communication is a catchball.
Yeah.
And even if I throw in the nicely first and it doesn't come back, or they can express well, or they don't even talk, oh my God. I said, come on, this is the opportunity. This is a chance for us to know each other very well, or to be honest each other and make it works, smoothly or better. Then for me, they look like they give up, or they don't realize the problem. Mostly, they don't realize the problem. That caused me kind of to lose my balance.
Yeah.
And so that I call trigger to myself.
I always try to come back to nature because you actually were talking about nature before, and we forget our connection to nature because I think a lot of the systems we have in place disconnect us from nature, like calendars or time, and all these things actually disconnect us from nature, where we think if there you have to, Mondays is work days and weekends and stuff like that, and we forget that we are, our skin and bone and blood are all a part of nature, is natural like nature, and so nature has an ebb and a flow. And what I've learned, and actually I've always known this, but I've got the words for it now, is we need to learn to go back. Like nature, if you plant a seed, people are afraid of the darkness, right? People avoid the darkness, stay in the light. Stay in the light, go out the darkness, stay in the light, avoid the darkness. And one thing I love about oneness and the concept of oneness is to embrace that we are all, we're part of all.
Yes.
So if we are a seed and we go into the ground, where is the first place we go? Down deep into the shadow, into the darkness.
Yes.
We don't go out into light, we go to the shadow. Because the shadow and the darkness is where your answers lie, because that's where the core is. We have to go back.
Interesting.
So I realize when I get triggered, I must be like nature, and instead of outwardly express it like lights, like toward the other person,
That's true.
I go in and go to the shadow and the dark
Mm-hmm.
to find where did this erupt from.
Mm-hmm.
I think one easy way to find your triggers is when you have a big emotional response to how someone is, and you have a want or intention to change them, for them to be different. That is the trigger. And and it's not even because it's one thing to say if someone pushed me, that's where I'm upset. That you don't want them to be different, you just don't want to be pushed, or you don't want someone to push you. But if they did something and you need them to act a certain way or be a certain way, and instead of saying that's how they are, who they are, and I will maybe choose to distance myself or choose to ask them like, hey, did you know that you did this, or what was your intention when you did this? If we have a emotional response of like you need to be better, trigger, because the trigger comes from someplace you feel unsafe and then you have to protect. So emotional response is
Yeah.
to protect. That's when I go into the shadow, into back to myself, and into the dark, and to my inner child. I do a lot of inner child work, where I go back to the inner child who felt that trigger, who is in this defense mode now, in protection mode now. And I said, why do you feel this way? What happened? First, I let them express their emotion. I let them cry, scream, any emotion that they need to release. I hold them as the new parent.
I think I never did that to back to the inner child or something
Mm,
like that.
that's my favorite thing. Every time we go through something emotional and traumatic, we fragment. Our soul fragments off.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of parts work? It's called parts work.
Mm-mm.
Every time you go through something emotional and you don't have something to help nurture it or see it or hear it, it stays fragmented. And so that stays for the rest of your life. So every time you're a child and some emotional thing happened, there's a piece of you, there's a piece of your inner child who kind of stays in this loop. It's actually, imagine it, if you could look at it as that inner child literally replaying the same event over and over and over.
Mm.
And so they're in protection mode. They're trying to avoid this happening and they feel all this fear and these things. Then as an adult, our child reacts to something and goes back into that place because that's where they live.
Mm.
And when our adult feels it and the child is now reliving whatever happened, I like to go back as the new parent. Because now my parents aren't parenting me anymore. I'm 35 now. They don't have the tools that I have. And so I like to see it as a road. When people think, oh, I'm out of that house, I don't live with my parents anymore, you actually still do. Because all your
Mm.
inner children are still back there living with your parents. You have to now take all the knowledge and wisdom you have and go back and to go get them. Because they're still in there. You have to go back and rescue your inner children and heal all those moments and go back to them and change your memory. For anyone who ever seen In and Out, your memory can be changed because a memory is created from an emotional response. Emotional response creates a memory. So that's how you remember the best.
Yeah.
And if
Because
you,
we are emotional being.
yes.